Hey everybody, it's Sarah Lacey with A Girl's Guide to Cars, and I'm here driving the Genesis G80. What is special about this G80 is it is all electric and it's beautiful. The sculpted look of the G80 is one of the highlights of the car. You've got this beautiful kind of creased metal here and leading back to this beautiful tail end where you have the Genesis name. There's nothing here that gives it away as an electric car, if we're being honest, except the fact that maybe there's no tailpipe on the back. But I love the sculpted trunk lid and the rear glass that makes it feel very light and open when you're inside. One of the cool things about the G80 is that Genesis has made it so that you don't have to pick and choose trim levels, anything like that. It is one package and it's got all the goodies. One of the things that happens to be my favorite is this Matera blue color. It is specific to the G80 electric, and sometimes it looks a little blue and sometimes it looks a little green, depending on the light. The other thing that you get is the fabulous double headlights that are the trademark of the Genesis brand. And we have the fun grille. And then you'll also see that 19-inch wheels are standard with this car. Something that can be a hurdle for a potential new electric car owner is the whole charging conundrum. How do I charge? Where do I charge? What does it cost? Genesis is addressing some of that by offering their new electric car buyers 3 years of free charging through Electrify America. So you can kind of get used to that whole infrastructure issue, which once you get used to it, isn't quite so bad. Do you remember the cool grille we were talking about before? Well, it also cleverly hides the charge port for the G80 electric. You push this little lever here, open it, and here's where you put your charger. Now this little indicator here, that's actually your charging fuel, if you will, gauge. On the interior of the G80, that's really where this EV shines. Now, a lot of people prefer some minimalism to their electric car, but a lot of people don't. And the thing that's so nice about this car is it still gives you buttons, it still gives you knobs, it still gives you some beautiful accoutrements inside the car that oftentimes an electric car can be missing. This color is called Lagoon Green, and it's beautiful with this beige interior. One of the things that Genesis has really put some thought into is making sure that their interiors are more eco-friendly. So you have things like recycled bottles in the carpet. You have this forged wood, which they've used from remnants of birch trees, and they've created this composite. It's really beautiful and it's really unique. No two Genesis G80s will be the same because it's all a composite and there's no pattern there. It wouldn't be a Genesis without some beautiful details and design touches. Specifically, we have this crystal navigation knob that you can use to move around the menus that show up on the multimedia screen. We have the gear shift that's got kind of this textured metal. And then you have this 14.5-inch screen that just makes everything very visible, crisp, easy to see, you know, right away when you're looking at it, what you're looking at, and moving around in the menus. You can also touch to find the things that you want to find. Right now, it's about 90 bazillion degrees here in Arkansas, so we might need to do that. Passengers in the back seat also have some creature comforts and are not excluded from the design process. You can tell by this beautiful ventilated upholstery with these gorgeous designs. Again, a repeat of the forged wood on the door trim. And in this insane weather today, I'm particularly grateful for the window shades. Another feature that rear passengers can look forward to is this cool fold-down armrest that includes cup holders, some storage with some charging cables there. What do you get on a full charge? Genesis says the G80 will get 292 miles on a full charge. What does it take to get there? Well, if you are at a fast charger out in the world, you can go from 10% to actually 80%, which I'll explain later. You can go from 10% to 80% in about 22 minutes. So that's the out in the world charging situation, best case scenario. Now, when you're at home, if you have a level 2 home charger, you can go from 0 to 100% charge in 7 hours and 22 minutes. So basically you plug in at night and then you come out in the morning, and hopefully you've gotten at least 7 hours and 22 minutes of sleep, and you come out in the morning, your car is fully charged and ready to go. 292 miles up. Why only charge to 80%? Well, typically with electric car batteries, you want to prolong the overall life of the battery, and to do that, you don't charge it all the way every time you charge the car up. So most electric cars will have you only charge to 80%, and that will save your battery life. All right, everybody. One of the interesting things about the Genesis G80 is that it's got some cameras on the front of the car that talk to the car's suspension and basically tell it when there's something coming up in your way, like a pothole or some sort of object in the road, and the suspension adjusts accordingly. So I'm driving on these roads here in Bentonville, just outside of Bentonville, around the Lake of the Ozarks, and I'm telling you, this road feels like it's the best road I've ever driven on. It's smooth, it's quiet, it's comfortable, and part of that also is because of the interior amenities here in the G80. It doesn't necessarily behave like your typical pared down electric car, and for that I'm grateful. But come along for the ride for a few minutes and enjoy the scenery out the window. It's a pretty day. When you drive an electric car, you will notice that there's a lot of road noise, and that tends to be because manufacturers want to keep the car light to make the most out of a charge. Sometimes it's also because you have tires on the car that are either run flat tires or low rolling resistance tires that can be a bit noisier than regular tires. So Genesis has thoughtfully counteracted this by installing a noise canceling system in the car, so that you drive along and you don't get as much of that road noise because of all these nifty little sensors that they've installed that keep the ride quiet. And when used in conjunction with the cameras that I mentioned earlier that talk to the suspension system, it makes any road feel like a brand new, freshly paved, quiet, comfortable road. I'm really excited that consumers now have a choice of a more traditional car that is driven by electric power. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this quick tour of the Genesis G80. I gotta go. I gotta turn on the AC and get out of this heat.